We have a tradition on this channel of elevating takeout classics to the level of company-worthy culinary fare. Today, we trudge on in our quest to deliver better versions of quintessential Asian American dishes with this fruity, spicy pineapple fried rice and succulent, crispy orange chicken. Make one or make both, but always dish out before you take out. Let's begin, shall we? We're going to go ahead and take the top off of this pineapple and peel the sides, trying to leave as much of the fruit intact as possible. Just go ahead and peel around the outside and curve your knife a little bit at the bottom to get the base. I'm going to take the two sides off because that's all I need for this recipe. And if you find once you've done that there is any of that rough exterior peel on there, just slice it away. I'm going to cut this into about 1 inch or 3/4 inch wide strips, and then just go back through and dice it up into 1 inch bite-sized chunks. The green onions are back, and we will slice them up ever so lovingly. Greens and whites both, of one whole bunch. Next, a red bell pepper gets cut into bite-sized pieces. I should add you could certainly use canned pineapple, but I really feel like the fresh fruit is the way to go. Got 1 habanero or Scotch bonnet pepper here that I'm going to mince. If that's too spicy for your likings, go for a jalapeno or a serrano, or just leave it out altogether, but I really do love the fruity, spicy notes that this brings to the rice. Easiest way to peel some ginger is with the back of a spoon, so we're going to roughly peel this up and then slice up enough for both our fried rice and our orange chicken. Go ahead and mince that up. You're going to want about 2 to 3 tablespoons in total, and mince up your 4 cloves of garlic. You've seen me do that before, so I won't show you again. So we're ready to cook now. We've got our cooked rice there. That was 2 cups pre-cooked, our pineapple, 1 lime, 2 eggs, and everything that we just prepared, along with toasted sesame oil and soy sauce. A couple tablespoons of olive oil or canola oil go down over high heat in a wok. We'll add in about half of our garlic and half of our ginger, along with our hot pepper. Make sure to turn your fan on, by the way. That thing releases a lot of spicy fumes, if you know what I'm saying. Go in with your bell pepper and stir everything constantly for about a minute until that garlic and ginger have softened and the bell pepper is starting to soften as well. Go in with half your green onions, try and get mostly whites in there. Again, stir around for about 30 seconds to a minute. And then we'll go in with our cooled rice. You really can't do this with rice that's straight out of the cooker. It needs to be like day old and pre-cooked. 1/4 cup of soy sauce, teaspoon of toasted sesame oil, and just stir that, trying to mix the sesame oil and soy sauce all throughout the rice and break up any clumps of rice. Make yourself a little bowl right down there in the bottom, a little more olive oil, and crack your eggs in. Season those eggs with salt and pepper because eggs on their own are kind of bland. Let them cook for about a minute, and once they're set, scramble them in your little bowl there, and then just stir them to incorporate them throughout the rice. Alright, we'll go ahead and add in our pineapple here. We're basically just trying to warm it through, not looking to cook it or soften it. And finally, we'll squeeze in the juice of half a lime, or a whole lime if your lime is not giving you too much juice. That's really all there is to it. Make sure to grab any escaped pieces of pepper and add those back to your wok. Stir everything one final time to make sure it's well combined, and set it aside with a lid. It'll stay warm while we make our orange chicken, which begins with orange juice, soy sauce, rice wine vinegar, our remaining ginger and garlic from before. You've got to use fresh ginger and garlic, it makes all the difference. Optional red pepper flakes if you want some extra spice, an orange, cornstarch, and white sugar. We'll add 1 cup of orange juice to a saucepan over medium heat, along with 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, another 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, our remaining ginger and garlic, 1/2 cup of sugar. You could do a little less, but definitely do need some sweetness to this, and those red pepper flakes for a nice little heat on your tongue. Whisk that, stir everything together, and let it cook for about 3 to 4 minutes so that ginger and garlic perfumes everything and they soften up. While you do that, you can take a tablespoon of your cornstarch, mix it with 1 tablespoon of water and set it aside. That will thicken our sauce at the end. And take the zest off of half of your orange, but don't eat it yet. We'll use it as a garnish. After about 3 to 4 minutes, go ahead and toss in your cornstarch slurry. Make sure that you're over enough heat to have a simmer here, and it will thicken up almost immediately. Beautiful. And at least 12 times better than anything you can buy in a jar. Add that orange zest for a maximum orange flavor right there at the end, whisk to combine, and set that aside on a burner and keep it warm for later. Finally, we'll make our chicken. That involves half a cup of cornstarch, half a cup of all-purpose flour, and 3 eggs, which we will vociferously beat. But first, we're going to season it up with about a tablespoon of soy sauce. Make sure you combine that soy sauce and beat those eggs very thoroughly. We want them all nice and combined. Stir that cornstarch and flour together as well. And I've got about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of chicken breasts here. Thighs would be fine too, that I've cut into bite-sized pieces. Just gonna get those down into our egg mixture and very thoroughly toss them so that they are all coated in that egg wash. From here, they're going to take a short flight over to the breading. And it's okay if you get a little extra egg wash in there. It's really just gonna help the texture of the final product. Try and lay them out in a single layer. And using your other hand, which is clean and dry, you'll just go ahead and toss all that chicken around. Yep, you can get a couple more in there. Toss all that chicken around, making sure to coat every square micrometer of chicken. No naked chicken spots, please. Once you've done that, set it aside on a plate to rest while you rinse and repeat, or don't rinse and repeat, with the remaining pieces of chicken. Once that's done, you'll follow up with your second batch. You can see how that breading mixture starts to take on some moisture from that egg wash, and it really helps it stick to the chicken itself. In a nice saucepan, get some canola, peanut, or vegetable oil up to 375 degrees, and drop in your chicken, carefully laying it away from you so that you don't splash hot oil on yourself. There's really no way to recreate this dish without frying it, but you could always try and spray it with some baking spray and put it in a convection oven or air fryer. Fair warning, I haven't tried that, so your mileage may vary. Deep frying is just a great way to cook. Not great for you, but anyways. Once that chicken is cooked through to 165 degrees, go ahead and get it out of the pan. Make sure your oil can recover back up to temperature. Cook that second remaining batch, and now it's time to toss. Make sure your orange sauce is very warm, hot even. And as you can hear, that chicken is delightfully crispy. So let's plate this up. A very generous serving of our pineapple fried rice is going down into a bowl. And an equally generous serving of our chicken. I mean, look, you're gonna be hungry again in 3 hours anyway, right? So pile it on, I say. Finally, we'll add our garnishes. I like some mung bean sprouts on top of the pineapple fried rice for a nice textural combination, along with a lime wedge for squeezing. There's that orange I mentioned earlier. You could always squeeze the juice down over the top, but I think it just makes a beautiful presentation as well. And finally, garnishing with beautiful green onions all over the top. So, looks better than most things you would ever get out of a takeout place, right? And pretty easy to pull together aside from the prep work. But how does it taste? Well, let's get that lime squeeze on there first and go in for a bite of this rice. Try and get a little pineapple, a little pepper. Because we use that day-old rice, the grains are all still nice and separate. It's not soggy or mushy. It's so flavorful. It's tangy, it's sweet. There's a little heat coming in at the back end. And this chicken, so crisp as you just heard, so tender, succulent. That sauce is just a world of amazing flavors. From the soy and the vinegar, cutting through the sweetness. I mean, as my good friend Guy Fieri would say, it's really out of bounds. So, I'm going to step away for the moment being, have my time with this delicious bowl, but you get on out of here and go make something delicious.